Okay, let's start the second half of the meeting with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay. All right, we're ready to start the second half of the meeting, and I'd like to introduce our main speaker, Jose. Come on up. Let's give him a round of applause. And David, your timer, he'll give you a 5 and a 2.
Okay, thank you. My name's Jose, and I'm an addict. Jose. And I'm real grateful to be here. I didn't know that I was going to share when I got here, but I really felt like that kind of showed me that I'm in the right place at the right time. Because if you guys needed a speaker and I just came randomly to this meeting, then I just feel like I'm right on point. So, I'll just share a little bit about what it was like for me before I got clean, and then I'll share what it's been like since I've been clean. And before I got clean, man, I grew up. I had a pretty bad start, I guess you could say. Both of my parents, they went to prison, so then I ended up in the foster care system at like 4 years old. So I didn't really remember them. And I had one of my sisters. We got placed together, and then my other siblings, we got split up. So that just from that point right there, after all the time of doing step work, I've learned that like there was a lot of brokenness. There was like some stuff missing, some connections in my life that were just ruptured, and there was a hole in my heart, and I didn't know. I didn't understand it though. I was too little to understand. But as time went on, it came out in my behavior and getting in trouble in school, and I believe that I was trying to fill that void. I did different things, tried to eat a lot when I was a kid, watch things that I shouldn't have been watching as a kid. Those things that made me feel different, I didn't like how I felt. I just wanted to feel different. And those things kind of took care of that. And as I continued on in life, I was always attracted to the wrong people. Like I thought that was cool to be like that. And I had like a bad reputation. So that reputation followed me everywhere I went, and I think I just embraced it. I didn't really know who I was. I couldn't remember my parents, and then eventually I did come back to live with my mom. And but before that, I was like in elementary school. I had a friend that he kind of had like some weed, and I was like so excited to try it. And we smoked cigarettes, and I thought I was cool, and I didn't realize that I was already preparing my life for the disease of addiction to like just take full control. I was giving myself over to it because I wasn't even planning to control it in any way. And as time went on, I got older. I came to live with my mom, and she felt real bad that she wasn't able to take care of me. So she kind of let me do whatever. And then just me hanging out with my friends in the streets, started smoking weed, and then it's kind of the typical thing, right? They say like weed is a gateway drug. Like that was so true for me. Started with that, and then drinking, and then got into high school, started doing like stronger drugs, and then before I knew it, my life started moving fast, man. At 15 years old, I started doing meth, and then started going to juvenile hall, and then I saw all the other kids in there with how they were acting, and they all gangbanged, and then I thought that was cool, and then I thought like, oh, juvenile hall's not that bad. Maybe I should do it too. And then I came out, and then I thought I was all hard because I went to juvenile hall, and then all my friends thought that was cool. So I just tried to take that on because I thought I didn't know who I was. So I felt like if the homies can give me a nickname, and if I can impress them, and if I could be accepted by them, then I'll be fulfilled. And the drugs numbed me for a while, so I kind of believed the lie that I was fulfilled. That void that I just talked about earlier from when I was a kid, I thought it was taken care of, because the homies gave me respect sometimes when I did something, or they gave me a beer, and I just remember that feeling when the older homie was like, "Here, youngster," and gave me a 40 because I like fought somebody or did something stupid. I felt that acceptance that I always longed for, and but that was all like a lie, man, and I just didn't know it because I was on drugs, and I was not processing any of my brokenness from childhood, and I was just carrying it around. And as I was out there in the streets, more things happened, more brokenness occurred. The relationships that we keep out there, they're not normal, and friendships, like nobody trusting each other, like it just being so many things that were just looking back now, like man, why would I hang out with some people like that? Like I remember being out there and, trying to sell drugs, end up getting shot, and then like slowing down for a month, going back out because I got some money, and then my homie's like, hey, bro, you're going to have to take that boot off, bro. You're slowing us down. Like, to me, looking back now, like, those are not homies at all, man. My foot never healed properly. But luckily today, I mean, you know, it doesn't affect me. But at the time, like, man, I don't know how I just accepted that type of treatment. But I think it's because growing up, I didn't have anyone right there to show me how to be treated. So I just took whatever. And, yeah, I eventually got sick and tired of that, man. Like, my family didn't really enable me. They were like, hey, if you're going to be on drugs, like, we don't want you around. And I kind of felt like a victim, like, oh, nobody loves me. And that kind of kept me out there. But at the same time, it helped me because since they weren't, like, giving me any money, they weren't letting me shower at their place, they weren't giving me no food, I kind of tried to figure it out on my own. And it only lasted for so long. And then I eventually tried to move away. And then not only, everywhere I went, I just felt like there I was. So anytime, anywhere I went, drugs came to me somehow. I wasn't looking for it. Somebody comes up to me, and then it's on. Anywhere I went, it's always happened like that. And I eventually tried to move away, and then I tried to do a lot of different things on my own strength, and none of it ever worked. But I'm real grateful for that experience because that's what taught me that I needed a program like Narcotics Anonymous for help. And at the end of the road, anytime I got high, I would be able to stay clean well, not really clean, but I would be able to not use for like a month or 2 months. But then anytime it came up or I got that urge, I had no defense for it. So I always gave in. And I eventually started to see the destruction that it caused. Like maybe for the girl that I was dating at the time or whatever, it just caused a lot of destruction. I didn't like how it made me. I was always want to isolate when I got high at the end. I passed that invisible line where maybe in the beginning when it was going to parties, drinking, smoking weed, and there was girls around just partying like that line was crossed a long time ago. At the end, it was just weird. It got lonely. I just wanted to get high by myself. And yeah, it wasn't even fun anymore. The consequences just kept getting worse and worse. And then it kind of would make my personality a certain way, and I didn't even like who I was on it. So I definitely wanted to change, and I had remembered my mom actually used to be in the program of NA, and she told me about it, and I always felt like I'll share this. Like I got clean at 21, so I kind of felt like, man, I hadn't even experienced like life like that. So how am I gonna get clean and throw in the towel now? But at the end, I didn't care. I just came to Narcotics Anonymous, and since then I've been clean. And Narcotics Anonymous has like blessed my life more than I could ever imagine. I remember in the first step, there's a question that asks about reservations, and that's basically, if you don't know what that is, that's like, what would it, if there's something in the back of your mind, like if this happened, then you would get loaded. And one thing that it was like in my life at the time, I never had anyone that really, like I had a lot of problems with my mom at the time. I had a lot of problems with everyone except for my little brother. And so like my little brother was someone that, yeah, in a way, he didn't look up to me no more because I was on drugs, but I always loved him. He never like mistreated me. That was like, if you have a brother in here, maybe you know like that's a different type of bond. And I'll share later on why I'm talking about that right now. There's a reason. So that's what at the time, right? That was about almost 10 years ago now when I did that step. And since then, man, I worked the steps. I've done all the things that they tell me to do. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was like, throughout this process while staying clean, throughout the years, there's been so many things, so many reasons, or so much things that have come up in my life that have been like, I could have misinterpreted them as reasons to leave the program. Yeah. And so like the first thing, right, when I was like 1 year clean, 2 years clean, I was in a super toxic relationship because that's all I could provide. That's all I could contribute because that's the kind of guy I was. And that's what I would attract. It was a lot of fighting, arguing. I remember one time I broke up with a girl and then tried to get with another girl right away. And then I used to live in the back house of my sponsor, and then they seen each other, and it was like 2 a.m, and they were like fighting. And then my sponsor comes out, and then he's like, "What the hell's going on out here?" And that's embarrassing right there. But that's the madness of the disease of addiction right there. And that's the type of stuff I used to get myself into. I'm not proud of it. It's kind of funny looking back now, but in the moment, it was stressful. In the moment, like, yeah, I would always think that it was her fault or what she was doing. It was her. She was crazy. I never took responsibility. But As I continued to work the steps, it showed me that like I actually changed. Like I had a spiritual awakening. And one of the best ways that I could explain what a spiritual awakening is, if you don't know what that is it's kind of uncomfortable. Have you ever been in a nice deep sleep and then somebody wakes you up and you're like, oh man, I don't want to get up? Like that's not how for me, that was my experience. That's how it was when I had a spiritual awakening. It didn't feel good. But what came from it was a personality change. I couldn't do the same shady things, the same scandalous things, and just be okay with it after that. I would feel bad, man. I developed a conscience. And I believe that a conscience is what helped me stay clean too, because if I kept on doing shady things, I would have kept on getting my life into a mess. I was living, in the beginning, I was clean but living dirty. If you ever heard that expression before, it's something we talk about in the program of NA. And what I was doing was, this girl that I used to be with, she wasn't clean, she wasn't in the program, and I just kind of said, oh, it was okay because she didn't use like the harder drugs that I used to be into. And like we would go to clubs, and I remember like giving her a beer, and I would be holding like I would always drink what was it, Red Bull, and then I would be holding the beer in my hand, and I would be feeling like, man, I shouldn't even be like touching this right now, like what am I doing? But I wasn't living on conviction at the time. I was new in recovery, but that's something that I would not recommend to anybody, because one thing they taught me was, if you get with someone that's getting loaded, eventually you join them. And it was around 18 months. It was around 18 months when I felt like it was a fork in the road. I was either gonna keep trying to be clean but live dirty, or just be all the way clean. And at that time was when we ended up breaking up for good. And that was the time when I was doing my 4-step. There was a lot that came up at that time, man. Like, so I've seen guys get loaded over women. I've seen guys get loaded over breakups, and you know, I still clean no matter what. I've seen people get loaded over being too scared to do their steps, being too scared to do the 4th step, and they sit on the 3rd step for too long. And when you don't go forward, it's dangerous. You got to keep moving. It can be scary because we got to look at ourselves, but it's necessary. It's the process of recovery. And a little bit after that, the whole pandemic hit. A lot of people got loaded. And I believe that my foundation must have been, I didn't realize that I did build a good foundation because I was able to stay clean through it. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a crazy time. There was other addicts in the area that were like, we were doing underground meetings at people's houses. We're going to parks, making it happen, or we would go to Orange County because they didn't really close down over there. And I was able to stay clean through that, but I was able to stay clean because I still stayed connected to the program or to the other recovering addicts. And like we got through it together. And during that time of the pandemic, I started, since I had a spiritual awakening, the program gives you the opportunity or the freedom to find your own spiritual path. Because what I've learned in Narcotics Anonymous, it keeps you clean just for today. It teaches you how to like go through life. But like if you want to go beyond that, right? Like I won't get too spiritual, but like if you ever think about eternity, like there's none of that in Narcotics Anonymous. That's where it's up to us as a member, right? We get to find all that out on our own, and we get that freedom, we get that choice, and that's something that Narcotics Anonymous provided for me. And through the steps, I never thought about God or anything like that. I learned to pray and just develop that for myself, just like each and every one of you. Either if you haven't, you will get that opportunity if you stick around. And I believe that's another reason why I've been able to stay clean through this. And but that also too, that freedom, that extra set of freedom, it caused a lot of how could I say it? A lot of wrestling in the program, because other people with different views, some of my friends, like the decisions that I made, it kind of made some friction. And just because if I didn't believe what they believed, or it kind of made me, sometimes I would question, like, do I belong in Narcotics Anonymous? I believe, and I have seen that a lot of people in here, including myself, right, we sometimes will question that. But I've seen people 20, 30 years sharing at a convention saying they walk into a room of NA and they feel alone. But I still believe like that's just the disease of addiction. It's constantly trying to separate me. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that. It makes me want to see the differences rather than the similarities. But no matter what, I tell myself, just keep coming back. That's what I've been trained to do. And that's what I've been doing. Don't leave before the miracle. And every time when I think that it's a good idea to leave, but I don't, there's always a miracle right behind that. So I'm grateful that I've been able to stick and stay. And yeah, after that, I would say that like through the steps, I've been able to like maintain some things around here. I was able to get married. Been married since 2023. When I first got clean. I'll be honest, like I didn't, nothing against women, but at the time I didn't trust women whatsoever. I didn't think I would ever get married. I didn't think I'd ever do anything like that because I came in here with a lot of hurt. And I came in here with a lot of bad experiences, even with people too whatsoever, men and women. Like I didn't think I would be able to have a brother in here that I could trust, but in Narcotics Anonymous, being around some good people, it showed me like there is good people. If I only stayed in that one little section of the hood that I stood, I only saw what was there. But Narcotics Anonymous opened my eyes to a lot more. And yeah, I remember traveling to like Vegas for conventions all over California, to different conventions, and just having fun, man. Like in Narcotics Anonymous is where I learned how to dance, believe it or not. Yeah, they had dances. I remember my first dance. I was standing on the wall, and my sponsor brothers were like, "Bro, get out there." And I was like, "Bro, I don't even know what to do." And they're like, "All right, come on, I'll show you." And these guys were like OGs. And it's funny because now I go to a wedding or something, and like not people from NA, and they're like, "Bro, why do you dance like a cholo, bro?" And I'm like, "It's because I got taught by the cholos in NA." And I feel like I kind of grew up in this program. Like, yeah, like I got in here when I was 21, and I've been clean ever since. So for me, like the people in the program, they make a big difference, man. Like people I've known here for years. It takes time to develop those friendships and relationships, but like it's something special because I have strong relationships outside of the program, but the special thing about the people in here is that like they know what it is to struggle in addiction. They know the same feelings. Maybe we look different or we use different drugs. That doesn't matter. What matters is we felt that same rock bottom. We felt that same desperation that caused us to come into these rooms. And like I said, different things have come up in the program since I've been that if I would have believed the lie, like, oh, maybe I don't need it, or maybe this hurts too much, I should go get loaded. And one of those things was like people passing away, man. They say everyone gets a turn around here. And when I got married a few months later, my wife's father, my father-in-law, he passed away. And I had to be there for her, and it was pretty traumatic because we had her in the hospital for a week, not getting enough sleep. And for someone like me, man, I'm very like structured. Like I try to do certain things every morning, and everything was all thrown off. But I was able to make it through with a lot of prayer, you know, talking to my sponsor, and going to meetings when I can. And yeah, man, it's been pretty rough since then. Like people and family have gotten cancer. Man, this is what I really was gonna talk about too. I'm kind of walking through a fire right now. Yeah, on February 3rd. Let me back up a little more. In April last year, my little brother, man, the one that I told you, if anything happened to him, I don't know what I'd do. He got in like a bad motorcycle accident. It was the night before Easter. We went. We didn't know what to expect, and then we found like he wasn't waking up for about a week. He was on the freeway. He finally woke up, and we were all excited. And he ended up getting out of the hospital, but he never was able to use his arm, and he had a bad brain injury. So his personality was kind of different. He was always like a happy guy, but from that point forward, he was kind of like quiet, reserved, kind of depressed. And you know, it hurts to say it, but on February 3rd, he ended up taking his life. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to trigger anyone. If anyone has a family member that has happened, I'm just sharing my experience. Like I know that's a hard thing. I'm not sharing that loosely, but I'm sharing that because I want you guys to see, like, no matter what, I'm still here. Like, no matter what, I'm staying clean. That may have been a reservation for me when I did work that first step, but today I don't feel like that's the right decision at all. I don't believe that would honor his memory to just try to numb it and escape from it. I believe that it's healthy for me to feel it. If I have to cry, I will. Mourn him, and like not just move on from it. Like I used to run from my emotions, but today I'm like, no, I need to feel these because I don't want them popping up in another area. That's right. And Narcotics Anonymous has allowed me and afforded me and helped me to be that figure in my family. Like I'm not the hero any way, shape, or form. I don't save no one, but like when when it came time to read his eulogy, like there wasn't really a question. They knew I was gonna be the one to read it. When we went to we checked out different like cemeteries. Like my mom wasn't even able to speak. His baby mama couldn't talk, and I was the one like. So like being the leader in that moment, and because they know like I've been consistent when like he was in the hospital at that other time for the motorcycle accident, I was able to show up. Narcotics Anonymous taught me how to do that, and I've been showing up, man. I've been showing up ever since he passed away in the beginning of this month, and I believe that our presence makes a huge difference in our family's life. That's something that none of us would have been able to do if we continue to get loaded. And maybe you guys are away from your families right now. You're in sober living, or I don't know exactly. You guys are far away. But if you build your foundation now, because life is going to continue to happen, those are things out of our control. The things that I've been going through in these last few years is the first time that I could say the suffering isn't caused by my own actions. Yeah. These are things that are happening that are on life's terms. Before, I suffered a lot before, but it was because of things that I did, decisions that I made. My inability to take personal responsibility for my own actions, like the reading says. But now today, it's like I'm in a position where like I'm truly blessed, but that doesn't mean that life doesn't still show up. But I'm able to show up when it shows up. I don't run away from it. And these steps really, make a big difference, like have helped me to heal. So I don't bleed on over them. Or honestly, one thing that's one of the greatest blessings out of all this, if I have to make it like a silver lining, is since the accident, I was able to show up for my brother so much to when he took his life. If you've ever experienced that with anyone, there's a big chance that you're gonna feel like almost everyone in my family probably feels like, oh, I could have did more, or I should have did this. But I don't feel that way, genuinely, because I know I was there for him. I know I showed up for him. When I thought about him, I would text him, man, I love you, bro. Hope you have a good night tonight. And I have those messages. When, I was able to do a lot for him in the end. And, like, just a week before it happened, like, we went to the Rams game. And it was just, we just had, like, good memories that, like, I believe, like, I was playing the role that I was supposed to play in his life as a brother. I couldn't do more. Obviously, I had to work, right? I couldn't be with him every second. He made the decision that I'm powerless over. I wish he didn't make that decision. He left a lot behind, but in the moment, I'm not even mad at him. I believe that in that moment he felt that was his only way to turn off the pain and shut off whatever he was feeling. And like he left behind 2 little girls, and it breaks my heart. But the best thing I could do is be there for those girls now. Be there for his baby mama. Be there for my mom. And continue to stay clean, continue to honor his memory, because I when I do see him again one day, because I do believe in eternity, right? I believe that like I could have something good to tell him, like I kept holding it down even though you were gone. At the end of the road for him, he looked up to me. He told me like a couple of weeks before he passed, like, hey man, one day I want to have a marriage like you and your wife. And I remember that for me, that was redeeming. That was like something recovery, right? That was recovered, because when we were kids, he looked up to me. We were watching family videos. He would walk around and follow me everywhere. And at the end, in the middle, right, when I was on drugs, I could tell he did not look up to me, which he shouldn't, right? He had every right to not look up to someone that's like living that lifestyle. But at the end, he did look up to me, and like through Narcotics Anonymous, the step work, and just showing up, man. That's how Narcotics Anonymous has blessed my life. How much time I got left? 5 minutes?
6 minutes.
6 minutes? All right. So I'll start wrapping it up. So yeah, man, that may have been a little heavy, but it's fresh in my life, and I'm always taught to just share where I'm at as well. I hope that what I had shared gave you guys some hope, because this program really works, man. And there's so many things that have happened that's like, it's just in the moment, like I couldn't plan on. Like I said, one other thing I'll share, like one of the little miracles, right? A few years back, so I used to live with my aunt when she got me and my sister out of foster care because my mom was in prison. So we went back to visit her a few years back, and when we went to visit her, my mom wanted to go. So she came with us, and it was my brother. She had my brother. She kind of took care of us. And it was my aunt's birthday, and then like it was like a room kind of like this, but just a bunch of family members hanging out. And then I was like, something that we like to do on people's birthdays is just go around and share something nice about them. And we just thanked her for like taking care of us. And then my mom was able to thank her, and there was just like tears just flowing in the room, because it was just like one of those moments where like a lot of amends were made. And those type of things, like I couldn't plan it, I couldn't make that happen, I couldn't set that up, but those are like those divine appointments that show me like, oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. So I believe that if you're here today, that you're in the right place at the right time. Like, you don't have to look back at what you missed out on. You don't have to make up for lost time, because you can't. You just gotta, from this point forward, you know, make the decisions that are gonna put you to where you want to be. So with all that being said, I'm probably gonna end early today, but maybe it gives you guys more time to share. Thank you for letting me share.